There's been an enormous improvement in the number of women in the board since the Breaking the Mould Awards were launched last year. But we still need more women at the top, in executive positions rather than just in non-executive roles. That's what these awards are all about, to celebrate those organisations doing the most to create and build a pipeline of executive women.
Why do you think you have been selected? What makes your organisation unique?
I think probably the sector that we're in engineering, it is predominantly a man's world, and I think Atkins is doing its utmost to try and change that. We've done a lot of initiatives over the past few years, but I think what's nice about Atkins is it's not always the big things. We've done some slight little tweaks here and there. We've raised awareness of our flexible working, which is one of the biggest things that I want to speak to the judges about. That's having an impact. So I think it's sometimes the smaller steps can actually, help with the overall objective.
We have been shortlisted for our sponsorship programme, Career Watch, which is a partner sponsorship programme that takes our high potential managers and over a series of conversations over a 2-year period helps them navigate their career, we hope, more efficiently, more confidently, enabling them to reach a more senior position in our organisation, because we're absolutely determined that we're going to have a more diverse and inclusive partnership, because for us the commercial benefits of having that are just indisputable.
77% of our people are women. So over 25 years of business, we've always had a very high percentage of women intake, but our retention's incredibly high, and their careers have been able to grow and develop in it. So I think that we've been actually selected because we have a great history and record of long-term career development and a dedication to create a business that allows women to flourish. And I hope it's because we can represent that through both our senior management structures, our ownership structures, and how many people actually like to spend a long time with us. And whilst we love having men with us, it's really pretty good to be able to do something which is unusual and breaking the mould by having so many successful women in one organisation.
Well, we're making a difference. One of the things that's happening in the UK, there's a lot of discussion about getting women onto boards, but one of the things that my organisation has identified is that minorities lack information. So my organisation is a huge support structure. We run workshops, we have boardroom conversations, introducing you to different board sectors. But also, if you get an interview, we will use our membership base and our connections to introduce you to somebody on a similar type of board. And that's really the old boys network, but on a mass scale, because we're doing this nationally. And I'm delighted to say that 5% of our members are men.
Well, I think what we think is unique is that we are really looking specifically at what individuals want. So we don't have a very detailed women's programme. We really deal with individual needs and concentrate lots of support and facilitate people to progress in the way that they want to progress. So I think that makes us a little bit different.
I think we've made some really good progress to date. I think the stats show that we've got some really good gender balance things going on in our department, but I think most of all it's the fact that two things really. One, that we're really aspiring for the future and we're not complacent, and that we're involved in much wider work that affects the wider business community that I think is making a real difference, how women on boards work.
Well, I think we've been shortlisted because we have worked very, very hard to make a real difference over the last 4 or 5 years to our women pipeline and to our number of women partners. We've really adopted quite a dramatic and grassroots approach to what we do.
What Aberdeen Asset Management is doing, which sets it apart, is the fact that we have initiatives across the board, and our Chief Investment Officer, Anne Richards, and our Chief Executive, Martin Gilbert, are very vocal on the importance of diversity, especially gender diversity, and the value that this has for businesses.
Why do you think the Breaking the Mould Awards are important?
I think that it continues to highlight companies where progress is being made. I've certainly seen in our organisation over the last sort of 12 to 24 months, we've had a dramatic increase in the number of women on our executive team and on our board, and we continue to have that increasing. And, you know, as someone inside the organisation, as a woman inside the organisation, I can see the difference that makes to have very visible women at the most senior level.
It's great to be part of an award that really does recognise that there is still a lot of work to be done in the workplace. So we were very excited about applying for this award because we felt that the campaigning work that we do, the research work that we do really fitted with what Breaking the Mould is trying to do.
I think one of the important changes over the last 5 years or so is that it now seems to be accepted by people that improved gender balance is a business issue rather than a soft and fluffy female interest.
The reason I think the Breaking the Mould Awards are great is that I'm hoping for a world where we don't need awards like this anymore, but we're not there yet. So I think it is important to highlight doing things differently, challenging the norm, particularly when it comes to highlighting women's voices. So yeah, we were happy to apply just to support that process, if nothing else, but even happier to be nominated.
But I think it's very important for women to support women in a more proactive way. I think men tend to naturally, you know, have the old boys network and support each other, whether it's in fundraising or working together or opening up doors. And I think it's lovely to have women also do the same. And I hope it actually grows more in the future.
It's the role model effect, isn't it? If you can see what other organisations are doing. Now in my case, I'm going into organisations, but maybe there's an organisation who'll watch one of these, this award, or they might even be watching this clip and thinks, oh, actually, maybe our women would be interested in this. So I think these awards are a fantastic idea.
How do you feel about going into the interview?
Very excited. It's been a momentous year for us with some public commitments that the organisation's made around diversity. So looking forward to sharing those with the judging panel later this morning.
The quality of the submissions and the calibre of the finalist representatives themselves made the decision-making process for our judges extremely difficult indeed. From our very largest companies to the smallest charities, there was innovation, huge enthusiasm and rigorous measurement, backed by support from the very top of their organisations.
How do you feel coming out of these, the interview?
It was a brilliant opportunity for me to talk to the judging panel around the real opportunity there is in the corporate market to address the market failure that there is in the recruitment industry on flexible working.
It was fantastic. They asked some brilliant questions. They probed about some of the initiatives. It was really great that I'd been involved in them, so it came from the heart, hopefully. And I reassured them that it was authentic. We're not an organisation that likes to just tick boxes, and hopefully I developed what the submission told them, and they got enough from me today, hopefully. So yeah, it's thoroughly enjoyable.
Very challenging questions, but I think we all did very well.
I'd like to think that what we said was firstly accurate, which was great, but also something a bit different from what they might have heard from other organisations. I think it really came out for me during the discussion that perhaps we are unusual. We're part of the civil service, sure, and I'm sure you're meeting other civil service departments too. But I think what we do is less about Whitehall and more about the whole of the country and the whole of the world, actually. So the fact that we were able to talk about how women have a very important role to play within that and managing our borders and everything else, I think was a good and positive thing.
Yeah, it was okay, I think. There was quite a lot in my mind that I wanted to cram in, so 15 minutes is not that long to cram in all the things that I wanted to say, really. So trying to keep it focused and ensuring that the panel got what they wanted out of it was a challenge.
I think it was quite fun, actually. I think we were quite surprised. We really enjoyed it. It was their energy for all of this stuff kind of comes through in their questions, and I think our energy there as well. So it's great to talk to people about the things that we're doing and to get that sense of positivity back.
It went very well. It was a really good opportunity to talk about what we've done, and it was really nice to get some positive feedback about some of the aspects that we're doing that they were impressed with, so that felt good.
There are obviously lots of awards out there, which is great in and of itself, and the special thing about Breaking the Mould is that obviously we're looking for innovative ideas and actions that are innovative, and I love the fact that people are proud of real experimental things that they have done that sometimes take a lot of courage, a lot of boldness. If you stipulate you're going for targets, if you don't get there, that's an embarrassment, and companies aren't afraid to do that anymore. I think there's a recognition that we're all on this journey, everybody's trying to do their bit, and that actually it's a wonderful thing to try something new. So that's been an incredible feature of this year's awards.
I think we had a really good day. We've had some really first-class entrants. The submissions in written form, were very engaging. I have to say the actual delivery of the case by the people who came to represent their companies was absolutely enthralling. There's no doubt that Breaking the Moulds is encouraging people all over the country to constantly look at improving the gender balance of the businesses, and that's great for British business. So for me, an enjoyable day, a very positive experience, and one that I know is very additive to British business.
I've been absolutely thrilled with the quality of the entries this year. We've had so many of them from all different size companies and professional services groups. I've again been delighted with our sponsors and their support, without whom these awards obviously couldn't go ahead at all. But what's been really interesting, I think, this year is from some of our most forward-looking companies, is that they're now thinking of extending the programs that they've implemented so successfully to develop the pipeline of executive women, and they're porting those over to try to improve the pipeline of black and minority ethnic employees as well. So what we're seeing here is a much more inclusiveness type of debate rather than one that is focused on gender only. And while I think probably on the BAME issue, we're probably where we were on women about 20 years ago, there's a hell of a lot of mileage still to be done. I'm now thinking that possibly next year's Breaking the Mould Awards might start to recognise this as well.